So, Bern, we see you up here on stage on Thursday nights and Sunday morning, and you do such an incredible job of leading us every week. We can really tell that it's real for you. It's authentic. You're not just performing, you're actually worshiping and inviting us to worship with you. So thank you for that. And we're just curious as to the backstory of Bern. So tell us a little bit about where you come from.
Well, I just moved here from a small town in Ohio, Newton Falls, and I grew up in a kind of a Christian home. My mom was a really strong Christian, and my dad kind of fell away from the faith. From as far back as I can remember, he didn't go to church or whatever. But my mom just poured into me, all my life, and probably about 6 years ago, I started taking singing seriously. I also felt like, God was just, he just had his hand over me my whole life. And I just really made this decision right before I went into high school, ironically, that I was going to follow him and that I was going to choose the church life instead of, taking the normal high school route, because at that point I didn't know where I stood, and I just decided to take church more seriously. And
so is that when you would say, going to vacation Bible school and your mom pouring into you, and that all kind of was the groundwork for that moment, you think? Is that really when it kind of, when you said, this is mine, it became personal for you?
Most definitely.
And then high school then, so you just lived out your faith?
Yeah, pretty much. I got involved in a church, and immediately the youth pastor asked me to play keys. And I had taken piano lessons, and I wasn't awesome, but he really invested in me, and I played keys, and 3 weeks later, he was like, "Hey, we want to lead a song?" And I was like, "Not really." And he just put me on the stage and just had a lot of faith and believed in me. And pretty much from that point on, I led worship for the next 3 or 4 years at that church. And
so 10th, 11th, 12th grade, that was your kind of introduction into leading worship?
Yeah.
Well, from Newton Falls, Ohio to Lubbock, Texas. How many miles is that? It's got to be 1,000 miles.
1,400.
Okay, you got it down.
Yeah,
1,400 miles. From northern Ohio to West Texas. Fill in the blanks there for us.
Well, every year I attended this Christian festival called the Alive Festival. It was a giant Christian music festival in our area. And I was at a Hillsong concert there with my friend. And there I met Rhett, and we became friends and texted a lot and Facebooked a lot and Skyped a lot, and things just kind of progressed. And about 6 months later, he came to Ohio, and we just kind of, before we decided, we were really doing this, and we really took the long distance relationship seriously. And I felt like God, a few months ago, felt like God was just really calling me here to be with him, and I had no idea that I would be here, and he's just blessed me in tons of ways, more than I can even imagine.
So what have been some, give me a defining moment, that a time when you really feel like God has spoken to you in a way that has redirected your life or changed how you live?
This is going to be a really cheesy story, but it was January of my 8th grade year, and I actually grew up going to a Catholic school, a private school. Wasn't going to a Catholic church, but Catholic school. Parents. Anyway, and I just kind of throughout, there are only 13 girls in my class, so wherever they grew up, wherever they came from, I got their input. I just kind of wasn't sure how my life was gonna go, but I was like, oh, well, I'll just do what blah blah does, and especially because I'd be going to the same high school as some of these girls, and halfway through my 8th grade year, I was just I feel like God was just telling me, Bern, what about you? What do you want? And what about your life? And like I said, I had been going to church, but I just really wasn't thinking about me or what God wanted for me. and I broke down into tears. And I actually made it my New Year's resolution to serve God more, and I really had this desire to just be closer to Him, and so yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
And that just happened like in your room, or was it?
Yeah, I was just,
Yeah.
I just really wanted God.
Well, that's authentic to me, you know. So let's talk about Thursday nights and just kind of from your perspective and your heart, you know, God bringing you here to be a part of something significant. Yeah, I mean, that is the relationship with Red, but also getting a chance to lead on Thursday nights. So share some of your thoughts, some of your vision, you know, your heart for Thursday nights.
Well, I really feel like God has just, every time I walk in these doors and get ready to lead worship on Sunday mornings and Thursdays, I feel like God just keeps laying something on my heart, that we would just go deeper in His love. Not only us as a band, not only you, John, but like, you know, the congregation, that we would just all go deeper in worship and in study and in our relationships, that we would just take each other deeper than where we are now. That it wouldn't just be, you know, our everyday church experience, that every time we would come to church, we would just really open our hearts and have a real encounter with God, whether people actually see it or not, whether it's just you and Jesus or whether you're praying with somebody, you know. I really feel like that's important, like, especially during worship, like, it's really about you and God. It's really about you opening your heart up to Him and just communicating with Him. Whether you're talking to Him, whether you're actually singing the words, I've just found it so important to literally forget that there are people next to you or anybody in the room, and to just really focus and concentrate on Him.
I really like that imagery of coming here and personally engaging with Jesus. And the band, you and Rhett and everybody else on the stage, me and my part, we're just facilitators, right? We're just the middlemen, right? We're the middle people.
Exactly.
Where we're just here to help create an environment that's conducive for you to hear from God.